On a sunny afternoon at the airport, a young black boy named Jamal was excitedly playing near his father's plane. He was harmlessly pretending to fly as he made airplane sounds. However, a pilot who saw him felt uneasy. Misunderstandings and fears often arise from quick assumptions, and this pilot decided to call the police, believing something was wrong. As Jamal continued his play, he had no idea that someone perceived danger and took action. The boy's laughter filled the air, but for the pilot, it was a moment that escalated into anxiety. The pilot wondered if Jamal might be a threat to himself or others, despite the boy's innocent behavior. Little did the pilot know that calling the police would lead to an unexpected turn of events. This decision would not only affect Jamal, but also reveal deeper issues within society regarding race and perception. As the story unfolds, we'll see how assumptions can lead to rash actions that spiral quickly out of control, and how one small moment can change everything for everyone involved. The pilot, named Mark, had been flying for years and prided himself on keeping passengers safe. On that day, however, something about Jamal's playful antics stirred a mix of unease and instinctive caution in him. As he watched the boy mimicking airplane sounds, Mark's mind raced with fears. He questioned why a child would be playing so close to an aircraft and imagined all sorts of scenarios where things could go wrong. Racial biases played a significant role in his decision. Mark felt a sense of danger because Jamal was a young black boy alone near the busy tarmac. The pilot worried that the boy might accidentally get hurt or that his actions might lead to an incident, blurring his judgment of the situation entirely. In that moment, Mark's perception clouded his understanding of innocence. He equated the boy's playful spirit with potential trouble. Feeling overwhelmed, he dialed 911, thinking he was being responsible. Yet, as he awaited the police response, doubts crept into his mind. Was he overreacting? Was this a case of letting fear dictate his actions? These questions would soon weigh heavily on him as events unfolded unexpectedly. As Jamal played near his father's plane, he felt nothing but joy and excitement. The sun warmed his skin, and the sound of airplane engines filled the air like music. With each imaginative roar he made, he was simply a child, lost in his game of make-believe. However, he soon noticed people around him looking uneasy, their faces tight with concern. When the police arrived, Jamal's heart began to race. Confusion washed over him as he saw the officers approach. He had never been in trouble before. He didn't understand why they were there or what was happening. Their serious expressions made him feel small and anxious. As they asked questions, Jamal's innocence was evident. All he wanted was to continue playing and have fun. Instead of being met with smiles and laughter, he faced authority figures who seemed to view him as if he were a problem. Jamal wondered if he had done something wrong and wished for his father to comfort him. In that moment, the carefree joy of play began to fade into a confusing mix of fear and misunderstanding, leaving him bewildered by the world around him. As the police cars pulled up, sirens punctuated the peaceful atmosphere, drawing both Jamal's attention and that of nearby bystanders. Officers stepped out, their uniforms crisp under the bright sun, and one officer quickly approached Jamal, while another took stock of the surroundings. The look on their faces was serious. They seemed to be analyzing the situation with a sense of urgency. "Hey there, buddy," one officer said gently, kneeling down to Jamal's level. "What's going on? Can you tell me your name?" Although his voice was calming, Jamal barely understood why he was being questioned. All he could think about was wanting to play again. Nearby onlookers exchanged worried glances, torn between concern for the boy and disbelief at why the police were even there. Some murmured about how children often play around planes without issue. Others expressed outrage at the pilot's decision, questioning whether such actions stemmed from prejudice rather than genuine concern. Meanwhile, as Jamal replied timidly to the officer's questions, the tension hung in the air, creating bitter confusion where innocence once thrived. This encounter marked a heavy moment for everyone watching, foreshadowing deeper conversations about race and safety. Just as the tension reached its peak, a voice rang out from the crowd. "Jamal, there you are. The familiar voice belonged to his father, who rushed onto the scene, his expression a mix of concern and anger. As he approached, everyone could see that he was wearing a badge that identified him as a high-ranking FAA administrator. Immediately, the dynamics shifted. The officer who had been speaking to Jamal stood up straight, the seriousness in his demeanor wavering. Jamal's father quickly asked what was happening and why the police were involved. Once they realized who he was, the officers exchanged glances filled with uncertainty. Their initial approach suddenly seemed inadequate for the gravity of his position. As Jamal looked up at his father, relief washed over him. He knew he was safe now. The crowd, which had been murmuring in disbelief just moments before, began to quiet down as they processed this revelation. The discussions turned from disbelief to apologies and reassessments of their assumptions about both Jamal and the situation itself. For Mark, the pilot, recognition of Jamal's father's identity brought a wave of regret for his hasty judgment. As Mark stood there, watching the scene unfold, a heavy weight settled in his chest. The realization hit him like a ton of bricks. His decision to call the police had stemmed from fear and bias rather than genuine concern for safety. He felt a rush of shame as he processed that he had unjustly perceived a young boy's innocent play as a potential threat. The crowd's shift from disbelief to understanding only intensified his regret. Mark thought about how easily he had let stereotypes cloud his judgment and how quickly he had made assumptions based on race. In that moment, he recognized that Jamal was just a child lost in imagination, not a danger to anyone. As Jamal embraced his father, Mark's heart sank further. Here was this loving parent rushing to protect his son, while he had put them both in this precarious situation. Mark wished desperately to take back his call, to have chosen empathy over fear. This experience would linger with him as a stark reminder of the importance of awareness and compassion, sparking an internal commitment to confront his biases in the future. As the crowd began to disperse, discussions ignited among onlookers about what had just transpired. Some voiced their anger at the pilot for his hasty decision, questioning why anyone would feel threatened by a child at play. Others highlighted the importance of community support and understanding, emphasizing the need to come together in light of such misunderstandings. Many were moved by Jamal's display of innocence, with several people offering words of comfort to him and his father in the aftermath. Parents hugged their children tighter, spurred by a shared sense of protectiveness and empathy. "This could have been my kid," one mother remarked, as she watched Jamal safely reunite with his father. Social media soon buzzed with conversations about the event, encouraging dialogue around race and safety, bringing more awareness to underlying biases. Residents started organizing meetings to discuss how they could foster inclusivity and understanding within their community. The collective response turned the incident into an opportunity for growth, urging members to address issues that divide rather than unite. Through their shared experience, they sought ways to ensure that no child would ever again feel fear when simply playing, transforming the moment into a lesson for all. The incident surrounding Jamal and the pilot's call to the police serves as a stark reminder of the racial profiling that continues to exist in society. Mark's decision, rooted in fear and bias, illustrates how quickly assumptions can lead to damaging consequences for innocent individuals. In this case, a young black boy was perceived as a threat purely based on his race, showing how societal stereotypes can cloud judgment and create unnecessary tension. As community discussions unfolded, participants reflected on their own experiences with racial bias, acknowledging that such incidents are not isolated. Many shared personal stories where they felt judged or misunderstood due to their appearance. This collective acknowledgement underscored the importance of addressing these ingrained perceptions and the need for education on unconscious biases. Furthermore, conversations about racial profiling highlighted the necessity for empathy and understanding across all communities. By recognizing the harmful effects of prejudice, individuals are empowered to challenge their own beliefs and foster environments where everyone feels safe and accepted. Ultimately, this incident became more than just one boy's experience. It sparked vital discussions on race that many hoped would inspire change for the better. In the aftermath of the incident, each party reflected on their experience and what they learned. Mark, the pilot, expressed a newfound understanding of how quickly fear can distort reality. He shared his regret over not questioning his assumptions about Jamal and acknowledged that his actions could have had serious repercussions for an innocent child. Mark committed to educating himself about racial biases, wanting to ensure such a misunderstanding would not happen again. The police officers involved also took time to reflect. They recognized that their response could have been more measured and expressed a desire to improve their training in handling situations involving children and diverse communities. They vowed to engage in discussions about implicit bias in their department, aiming to build trust with the community. Jamal's father highlighted the importance of having open conversations about race and safety with children. He emphasized that while Jamal's innocence was preserved this time, not every child is as fortunate. He hoped that sharing their story would encourage others to think critically about their actions and biases, fostering a sense of community where understanding prevails over fear. Through shared reflections, all parties embraced the opportunity for growth and change. In conclusion, the incident involving Jamal, Mark the pilot, and the police serves as a powerful reminder of the need for understanding and respect across all communities. It highlights how quickly fear and assumptions can lead to grave misunderstandings, particularly when racial biases come into play. All parties involved learned valuable lessons about the impact of their actions, sparking an important dialogue about race, safety, and empathy. Mark's regret prompted him to confront his biases, while the police recognized that better training was crucial in dealing with diverse populations. Jamal's father emphasized that conversations about race are vital for creating safe environments for children. As a community, there was a collective call for change, urging individuals to engage in open discussions and reflect on their own perceptions. The resulting awareness aimed to build trust among community members and ensure that every child can play without fear or misunderstanding. This incident not only served as an educational opportunity, but also as a catalyst for fostering a more inclusive society. The path forward requires a commitment to listen, learn, and grow together, paving the way for unity and understanding in an increasingly diverse world.